and welcome to the Healthy Half Hour podcast. We are your hosts, Richard and Karen Inslee.
The Healthy Half Hour podcast is your resource for all things healthy, and we will be discussing how to make nutrition, fitness and lifestyle choices work for you.
We will be sharing our own personal insights along with research gathered from working in the health and fitness industry for the past 10 years.
Our show is brought to you by the 7 Day Shred, which can be found at 7dayshred.com, and please feel free to visit our podcast website, which can be found at healthyhalfhourpodcast.com.
And now on to today's show.
Hi everyone, we're back again. What have we been doing since we've been last here?
It was the interview last, and it was probably about two and a half weeks ago.
So did we? In that time we were guests on a gallbladder and liver health webinar of one of our listeners and our 7 Day Shred by ebook customers.
Hi Renee.
Yeah, hi Renee. Asked us to be guests on her webinar. She is actually a live liver donor, and she'd already done a previous webinar on liver donation, and she wanted to interview us and get our take on health when you don't have a gallbladder, because when you're a live liver donor there is absolutely no way to keep your gallbladder. So it's an interesting piece of information that we found out. So she was interested because in the 7 Day Shred ebook that I created, there's a lot of information on liver health, what to do when you don't have a gallbladder and how to manage it, especially from a nutrition perspective. So that was interesting.
Enlightening, yes.
Yeah. And there was a few other people involved in the webinar, so that was nice. So we'll actually share the link for that when Renee actually posts it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other exciting stuff, last Friday we went to a friend's cabin for the day, and a few weeks previous, we'd had our first excursion of riding a jet ski, and then this time we actually was on the back of our friend's boat, and they had a tube, and you and our friend's daughter Stephanie managed to get flipped into the water.
Going like Mach 10 across the water, spinning all over the place, and we went across the bow wave and hit the wind and hit the wrong wave, and next thing, I'm floating in the drink. So fun times, good times.
Stephanie's like there asking you, what, you've never been on a tube before? Whatever, like for 5 minutes, just asking you.
And apparently I don't scream enough.
Yeah, you don't scream.
In comparison to a 14-year-old girl.
And so myself and our friend Laurie, we actually got on the tube, but we gave Randy instructions that he was not to flip us. And apparently we found out afterwards that Stephanie, their daughter, was on the boat going, Dad, flip them. But Randy
knew better.
Yeah, Randy knew better, especially than to annoy a red-headed girl. So
especially a crazy one.
Yeah, crazy one. So today's podcast is actually going to be a little bit of a rant, actually. And I was actually just saying to you before we started recording that I wish that we didn't have a non-explicit podcast, because...
Well, I'll have to see if I can find a beep on the internet to beep and stuff like that if you start to get excited, which you probably will.
Yeah, no, I'll try to be good. So we
basically wanted to do this one because, again, you look on the internet, Facebook groups, all the usual stuff, and people try and go like eating keto, or they go looking at a healthier diet, healthier options, and like the picture that's on the website that accompanies this podcast just says basically don't trade one processed food for another, because people eat all this processed garbage out of whatever convenience, I haven't got time, all the usual 10 million excuses, and they just go to keto or go to paleo and then just start looking for more processed foods because, again, they haven't got time, they haven't got whatever, and just end up basically in the very similar position. So we're going to have a couple of different looks at this. I've been looking at a couple of studies that I'm going to kind of run through one of them in a little bit of detail, and then a couple of other ones, again, just about different calorie sources and how they can affect what we eat. And Karen's been trolling the internet for everything processed keto, and I think she's just going to lose it in a minute.
No, I mean, I'm still in one local keto group.
Yeah. Don't post it in that one.
But one of the things, like you were just saying, that people are just trading one processed food for another, and they're looking for substitutions. And although there's a lot of products out there, and you look at the ingredient list, and some of the ingredients are pretty what you'd class clean, I guess, but it's still another processed foods. And one of the comments that I saw in a group earlier, somebody was saying, what restaurants are keto friendly?
I won't tell you what she said.
No, I'm going to keep this clean. I'm like, all of them. Like, it doesn't matter where you go. If you're having protein, chicken, fish, low-carb vegetables, butter, all restaurants are keto friendly. And it just, I don't know, it just like...
McDonald's wasn't on the list, was it?
Makes me shake my head. But actually, now that you've said McDonald's, I can't recall exactly the post that I saw earlier. This girl was saying, after I'd had my breakfast at McDonald's this morning, I was really struggling with something. And I'm like, that was
digestion?
She actually wanted some suggestions. She was trying to go dairy free and wanted some suggestions for breakfast items that weren't obviously obviously had any dairy in them. And somebody said like, why don't you get the Egg McMuffin from McDonald's and have it without the bun? And I'm like, why would you go to McDonald's anyway? Why not just... And my suggestion was like, we use the local butcher Friggs at Middlechurch. And I'm sure that anybody listening wherever in the world, you've all got access to natural butchers. And I just said, why not just go and buy a sausage or chicken burger and have that for your breakfast with some avocado? I mean, you don't need to go to McDonald's.
Have to do something.
Well,
we can't stand and sit in the drive-through listening to the radio.
But I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. I shake my head at it. And one of the things that I've also noticed online is the expense of everything.
Well, I know you were talking about some keto coffee earlier on.
I don't actually mind mentioning this company because, like, everybody knows our thoughts on multi-level marketing companies. But somebody was asking about the Prove It keto products, and this keto coffee on their website, and there's 15 servings in this keto coffee. And the cheapest I found it was $56.99. Seriously, $57 for 15 servings of keto coffee. And I'll just read you what the ingredients are in this, miracle keto coffee. Ground coffee powder, citric acid, and stevia leaf. Really? Like, what?
Must be ketones in it.
But there's nothing else in it. And it's like, you throw keto on a label and people just go crazy. That's what I'm doing wrong. Like,
we should start selling keto stuff.
Yeah, I should just make a product and just write keto on it. And
put a false window in front of the one at McDonald's and then just get them to spoon it from the back and then just out the front. Keto burgers. Get your keto burgers.
But I've noticed as well locally, there's some places, some bakeries have popped up, and I've actually got some very amateur videos on my YouTube account.
All those ones?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Oh, the cooking ones?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, there's nothing like that on it. Ignore him.
You do.
Yeah. There's some amateur videos that I put on my YouTube page. One of them was a keto bun recipe, and literally it's the most simplest thing ever to make. I mean,
Best buns ever.
If you can just throw everything in a bowl, mix it and throw in the oven, like what's more complicated? And there's even a tortilla wrap on there that literally comes out the texture of a floppy tortilla wrap. And they're not expensive to make. They're not time consuming to make. If they were time consuming, I wouldn't do it either. But I just want to list a few of the prices and products that I've found locally. And cupcakes, $5 per cupcake because it's a keto cupcake. Place sells 6 hot dog buns for $17, 6 bagels for $15, 8 breadsticks for $12. A sandwich bun, $3 per bun. I mean, seriously, you could buy the ingredients for a fraction of the cost. Yes, somebody else is making it for you, but instead of sitting in front of Netflix or Facebook or whatever, why not just go and have a look and research out there? And there's actually a commercial product, and our local grocery store, superstores sell them, and it's called an unbun. And it's a keto bun, and there's 4 of them in a packet. And they range anywhere from $11 to $13 just for 4 buns. And I don't know, and it's a processed food again.
Yeah, and that's one of the things, like I say, a lot of this stuff, there is obviously certain amounts of processing. What's that, the bar we found? Is it the Larabar?
Yeah, the Larabar.
Yeah, we were looking for something a while ago that was kind of unprocessed. And I mean, I must admit, Larabar have pretty much got it nailed. There's 3 ingredients in it, and they're all everything you could buy off the shelf, like dates and things like that. Admittedly, they are high in sugar, so not keto friendly. But I mean, when it comes to granola bars and other garbage like that, I mean, really, you can't really go much wrong with them because, again, it is whole ingredients. But again, you'll pay through the nose for that. So.
Oh, sorry, go on.
No, go on, sweetie, after you.
No, I was just going to reference another one. I did some research on them, and a lot of people keep posting pictures of say, now that you mentioned that Larabar, and it's another protein bar, keto bar, whatever you want to call it, and it's called Good Fats. And I thought, okay, and it promotes that they're low carb. So I just thought, oh, well, I'll look at the ingredients. So I hope you've got time. Fats blend, sunflower seed butter, organic palm stearin, coconut oil, hyaluronic sunflower oil, chocolate flavoured coating. And the chocolate flavoured coating is isomalto oligosaccharides, dietary fibre, palm kernel, palm oil, milk protein isolate, cocoa powder processed with alkali, sunflower lecithin, stevia extract, whey protein isolate, semi-sweet chocolate chips, cane sugar, chocolate liqueur, cocoa butter, sunflower lecithin, vanilla extract, coconut powder, gum acacia, rice flour, oligofructose, natural flavour, sea salt, mixed tocopherol, sunflower oil.
You think anybody's still listening?
No, probably not.
Even I switched off then.
Yeah, because well,
I know.
I don't know. You say
the majority of that stuff, that is, there's a bit of fibre and shelf life. I mean, that's really, and I mean, some of the fat sources in there are dubious to say the least. But again, it's always that comes down to that convenience again. And I need a snack. Which
Why?
Again,
what do you need snack for?
I don't. It just sends me nuts what people need. You can eat 2 or 3 times a day quite happily and get through the day. Or once a day. Yeah, you can even do OMAD. And one
What's
meal.
OMAD stand for?
1 meal a day. And people just go. This whole snack thing is just really. I don't know. I think it's just companies trying to sell stuff, and it's just probably got a little bit out of hand. But apparently, you can't do snacks. You can't send your kids to school without a snack that doesn't look like a peanut, almond, any other kind of nut that's going to kill somebody. Can't have nuts on a plane. Ooh. So
don't get us started.
I know. So I was looking at this study, and again, people say, well, why can't we have processed foods and, as opposed to unprocessed foods? And earlier in the year, a study was done and by the National Institutes of Health, and what they did is they got a group of test people in, and they fed them processed and unprocessed foods. So they tried to keep everything the same as much as they can. So they get carbs, fats. Proteins were slightly different by about 1%, but hardly noticeable. Sugar, sodium, fiber, vitamins, everything in both sets of meals was kept the same. And they chose a random selection of people. So their BMIs range from 18 to 42. And again, this was over 28 days. So what they did is they let the people have 14 days worth of processed foods and then 14 days worth of unprocessed foods. They split them into 2 groups and then they switched in the middle. And there was no restriction on calories. You could eat what you want. So they made the food up and they put all the meals out. You could eat as much as you want and you could have as many snacks as you want. These people lived in for 28 days and they monitored them. They put glucose monitors on them all the time so they could see. They put loose clothing on them so they couldn't see themselves or notice how their clothing was going tighter or looser.
They put scrubs on them or something, didn't they?
Yeah, like surgery scrubs, yeah. They weighed them daily. And basically, they took the results at the end. And the guy who did the study, I'll put a link to the study, and it's actually a YouTube video and the study itself. And he said he didn't expect to see a lot of difference. And they actually found that most people on the processed diet in 14 days gained 2 pounds. And on the unprocessed diet lost 2 pounds. So about a kilo either way. And basically the daily difference in calories on the processed diet was about 500 calories extra. And on the unprocessed diet, people were eating around 2,000 calories, and with the processed diet, they were just eating more. They actually looked at what people ate. The protein for most people stayed the same, whether it was processed or unprocessed, and the carbs and fats went up. They actually asked the people, did you like the processed food more or the unprocessed food more? And all of them said basically they didn't really care. There was no pleasantness any difference. And same with the snacks. There was no difference in pleasantness, and they were kind of happy with either way. And with processed meal, the snacks were pretty much the same. People ate the same calorically snack-wise as what they did with processed or unprocessed, but it was in the 3 main meals. And in those 3 main meals, people just ate more, just, again, purely because it's that, again, probably appetite regulation, or just people just aren't satiated with processed foods because, again, of what the foods are made up of. And I mean, when you talk processed foods, they were feeding them cereals, turkey bacon, tater tots.
Oh, turkey bacon.
White bread, muffins, ravioli like Chef Boyardee ravioli, Lay's chips, chicken nuggets. So nothing really out the side of basically what a lot of times people eat on a daily basis anyway, or feed their kids. And again, people wonder why, people put on weight. And it really it's the processed foods and how the body actually treats them. And it's the same with, again, if you're going onto a keto thing or a paleo diet, and then all of a sudden you start having smoothies every morning, then a smoothie for lunch, because, again, it's going to be different. You're going to feel different, and you're going to eat less because, again, it's all these smoothies and things that everybody's banging on about now. But they did a jelly bean study a few years ago. And what they did is they gave people 450 calories a day of soda or jelly beans. And what they found at the end of the study was that people put on weight who drank the soda, and the people that ate the jelly beans didn't, which is not something you can go and eat a ton of jelly beans now. Just saying. Just obviously from a sugar point of view and from a calorie point of view. And the people who actually drank the soda actually ate more, and their hunger went up and their fullness went down. Because, again, it was those liquid calories, sugar calories. And the people who ate the jelly beans, actually the 450 calories of jelly beans, they went alongside. So say people were eating 2,000 calories, they were actually eating 1,550 of regular food, and then the other 450 was jelly beans. And the people doing the 450 calories of soda were having 2,000 calories plus the soda, because, again, their body was getting these different signals. And again, it's this neural regulation of appetite, which, you're chewing something and your body's getting signals. And also there's a hormone called ghrelin, and that ghrelin should be suppressed as your stomach gets fuller. If you're drinking 300, 400, 500 calories of something, your stomach doesn't really get fuller. So again, that hormonal signal sent to the brain to telling you to stop eating doesn't get sent. So again, people just really kind of probably don't understand the mechanics and, it's just calories and the body will do this with it. But there's a lot of other moving parts. And again, we've talked about hormones in other podcasts, and it's just, I thought, just super interesting. And this study with the processed versus the unprocessed foods caused quite a stir in the industry, and people were kind of taken aback a little bit.
And obviously this study was not a keto study, but what we're trying to get across with this with regard to people swapping one processed food for another is that you see, like I say, in the social media groups, is that people are desperate to get some processed, like supposed keto snack or keto product. But it just goes to show that the chances are that you probably will end up eating more and your weight loss might plateau. It might not go as fast as you want because you're actually eating processed foods.
And if you are tracking your calories, again, on those processed foods or liquid calories, then you're probably going to be hungry all the time and miserable when you're trying to eat all these things. And more often than not, that's why your diet's going to fail. I mean, statistically, all diets work if you follow it. But I mean, the reason for failure may be just something as simple as, again, just the consistency of what you're eating, liquid over solid or processed over unprocessed.
And I know I mentioned about that keto coffee and multi-level marketing companies selling like products and now they're throwing keto on it. But a lot of people also use products that have exogenous ketones in them. And
what does exogenous mean, sweetie?
It means basically it's made outside of the body.
Ooh.
Endogenous is like ketones are made inside the body.
Ooh.
But people take on exogenous ketones thinking that it's going to increase your BHA, and I can't for the life of me, butahydroxy.
Yeah, acid.
Yeah. See, mental block. Yeah, it's been a long week. And there wasn't it was a big long word, so I just always struggle with them.
We know.
So people take these exogenous ketones, and we've actually tried them in the past, and a lot of the studies that have been done have actually looked at things from an athletic performance, and whether you take in exogenous ketones or BHA supplements, they actually prevent the use of amino acids from the muscles. So there's actually a bit of a trade-off, but athletes are better able to utilize exogenous ketones. But for the average Joe out there, exogenous ketones, they're not going to help you in the slightest. The only thing that it is actually going to help you lose is a lot of money out your wallet, because they're expensive. Like the coffee actually is more expensive than the coffee.
Yeah, we tried some and it just made me feel sick.
I mean, if any of you have seen the original Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, Total Recall, where they, at the end of the movie, where they end up outside and his eyes are bulging out of his head, that's what was happening.
It felt like it.
The stimulus effect. I mean, I had like a half dose and I'm like, no, I'm done. And like, it cost me $80 for this packet of exogenous ketones, and it just made me feel horrible.
Yeah, and and again, there's a lot of, they're trying to sell it as like a diet supplement and things to get you into ketosis quicker. No, all it does is register ketones on your ketone monitor because you're feeding yourself ketones. Does it get you used to ketones for us? No, it was literally a completely negative experience. I know this was a couple of years ago, and I know that the products have got better. But again, I really can't see the point in having them, apart from, like I say, making somebody a lot of money. And like we've said before, the easiest way to get into ketosis is just don't eat for a day or two.
Yeah, fasting. I mean, and it's a lot cheaper than spending $80 to $100 on a packet of exogenous ketones. And we just wanted to have a little bit of a rant, or I did, on this podcast in particular, just to kind of hopefully help you understand that, yes, it might say this is a keto-friendly protein bar or keto cupcake or keto bagel, but it's still a processed food. And you obviously illustrated with that study that processed foods, you typically are going to be eating more calories. And it doesn't matter whatever diet that you are on, if you eat more calories, like energy sources, than you actually expend. It doesn't matter whether you're keto, paleo, vegetarian, whatever, you're going to put weight on.
Yeah, because I mean, it's not as simple as calories in and calories out, but if you are eating, again, more than you're actually expelling, whether it's from a metabolic BMR point of view or whether it's from an activity point of view. Yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, that's what's going to happen. And again, if you're having these liquid calories too, you're just going to drive the bus completely the wrong way. And admittedly, making whole foods and everything and prepping food is more work. And I mean, in this study, the guy actually said at the end that when it came to the process and they got the chefs and people making all the dishes up, there was 40% more work making the unprocessed dishes as what there was the processed dishes. So if you know it's 40% extra work from the outset, put it into your day. Do something less, miss something. Like Karen says, miss that show on Netflix. It won't be the death of you. And I mean, prep meals ahead of time a little bit if you can. And, just reconcile it with yourself that this is how it's got to be. And it's going to be the best way forward for you and your family.
And the thing is, I mean, one of the things that we do with our Sunday supper, we always have a roast supper on a Sunday night. And I always make extra veggies and extra meat just so that we can have a really quick, simple reheat meal on a Monday night, because our schedule on a Monday doesn't allow for me to be in the kitchen that much. So like when this study said that it's 40% extra work, I mean, at the end of the day, if you prep 3 lots of carrots, 3 lots of beans, whatever, I mean, how much extra time is it actually taking? Yes, if you were doing that every single night, but prep like 3 lots of vegetables and 3 lots of it, like portions, so that it's just a no-brainer. It's just like simple, so it doesn't have to be complicated. And one of the things that I've seen as well, that I wanted to make people aware of, is like we've got a pizza restaurant here, and I like Boston pizza. I mean, if you go into the city in Winnipeg, Boston pizza has to be in our opinion, one of the better pizza places to go. And they've been advertising a cauliflower crust pizza, but apparently it is a bread pizza, but it's got cauliflower in it. So you've got to be very, very careful when you go out for anything. And restaurants are promoting them as, oh, this is keto friendly. Oh, it's a cauliflower crust pizza. Oh, it's this. And it's like, okay, well, ask for an ingredient list. I mean, most of the restaurants will have the ingredients and the menu online anyway, but a lot of the restaurants in Winnipeg are doing a lot of keto-friendly pizzas, so they're using the fathead like keto dough. They're using the I don't know if they're using the bread bun dough that you like, but there's a lot of different ones. But again, the cost is phenomenal in comparison. So a lot of them, you look at them and go, yeah, this is really simple. I could do this at home. In the time that it's taken you to wait for it to be delivered to your house, you could have made it.
Well, yeah, like you say, there's that 40% extra time, but there's the cost too. I mean, people say, again, we've mentioned it on the podcast, that Whole Foods costs way more and going to the butcher costs way more, but it really doesn't.
No,
if you look at
butcher's cheaper than like some of our grocery stores.
Yeah, and if you look at, again, all these processed foods, again, you're taking it out of things, but it's really just looking after yourself at the end of the day. And I mean, your biggest bang for your buck is going to be with your diet. I mean, again, it's like we've said before, if you have 3 meals a day, that's 21 opportunities a week you've got to kind of get yourself in a healthier position. I mean, you'd have to work out an awful lot and run an awful lot for 21 times a week to make that difference. So, I mean, again, just, if you pardon the pun, just kind of food for thought. But hopefully, again, we've not waffled on a little bit too much with this one and made people switch off.
I didn't swear.
Okay, because of our whining. But again, just want to make you think, again, about processed foods and the kind of what you are putting in your mouth. If, again, keto, paleo, veganism, vegetarianism, whatever it is your goal, and weight loss is your goal, then, again, it really does matter. Keep off those processed and stick with the unprocessed foods. Till next time.
That's all we have time for right now, but we do hope that you join us for our next show. And if you want to contribute to an upcoming show by suggesting a topic that you would like us to discuss in more detail, then hop over to our website, healthyhalfhourpodcast.com, subscribe to our podcast and submit your suggestions. The Healthy Half Hour Podcast was brought to you by the 7 Day Shred, and don't forget to share our details with your friends and review our show. Until next time, thanks for listening.